Hey, middle school leaders, I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Just wanted to come out here and release another training video. Something I want to know from you guys, so once you listen to this, if you could respond and tell me, is tell me how these videos have been. Have they been too short? Like, do you feel like you need more information? Or are you like, no, they're the perfect amount and the information's been helpful? What are topics that you guys want? I want to know kind of some feedback on how these videos have been for you guys. Because again, I feel like this is the best way to get information for you guys. And so I want to make sure this is information that's actually helping you in groups. So this specifically, I'm talking to you guys as middle school leaders. I'm sending a different video to the high school leaders. But I just want to say, first and foremost, I think you guys have done a great job. And I mean this universally. I know some groups might have had harder times than others, but I feel like you guys have done a great job over the past month of really working to create a good foundation in group culture in which respect can ebb and flow throughout your groups. And I know some weeks feel better than others, and there's weeks where it might just be you and you don't have a co-leader or whatnot, and things still can be challenging. And so I'm not saying that groups are easy from here on out, but I just want to say that I think you guys have done an awesome job to kind of lay that foundation, at least from what I've heard from you guys and understood. I think things have been going a lot better in groups. So I want to continue that, though. I want to continue laying that foundation, and you might even in certain seasons have to do that more, but we want to continue to lay this foundation of respect, because what happens is the students who are regulars will pick up this culture and they almost start helping teach the students who are not regulars this case, right? This happened, I think the 8th grade boys group, I know I always use them as an example, and I just have had a lot of conversations with their group and helping them because at times they have a rowdy group. But they said that this week, some of the students were actually talking to the disruptive students and going, come on, hey, don't do that, let's listen up. And that doesn't mean that they're always perfect and everyone's always attentive every moment, but what it is the culture is laid and the foundation is there, that every student who is now a regular understands, hey, this is how we act, and now you don't even have to be the bad guy. Everyone's just kind of looking at the students like, come on, like we want to listen, we want to hear what other people have to say, and we want to be a part of this. And so with that, I'm going to encourage you guys to continue to call students out specifically. When I was in one of the 6th grade girl groups for a few weeks, or one of the weeks, there was a girl who specifically would, every time someone else would say something, she would say something. She would speak out loud and comment and always had something to add and something to say and wanted to be heard, and sometimes would poke fun at other people. And so I looked at her directly in front of the entire group and I said, hey, girl's name. I said, it seems like you have a hard time keeping your comments to yourself. And it might be awkward for her and she might feel really singled out, but sometimes you need that to happen a little bit for that girl to be aware of that. And what actually happened was I said, I need you to learn to focus. And I said that in front of the whole group, so they all saw it. And anytime she blurted out, now they're aware of what I just pointed out, and she's aware of it too. And I know it feels harsh, but it's actually very loving. Because here's what happened after I did that, is this girl still comes every week, but I hope at least, I haven't been back every week, but during that group was a lot more respectful and willing to listen. And there was actually a different girl across the group from me that mouthed, she was like, thank you, because that girl who was sitting across from me wanted to be heard, but never could because girl A over here was talking too much. So I want to encourage you guys, don't feel bad. If there is a specific individual that is causing a big disruption in your group, call them out by name. And you're not just trying to embarrass them. That's not the goal. But you're saying, hey, I see that you're struggling with this, and you're calling them to something better. That's really what we're doing with students, and that's a big part of growth here. And we've had this in our life. You have someone who says, hey, you need to grow in this area. You need to shape up in X, Y, and Z. I remember when I was 19 years old and was in our first staff meetings, my boss, as a 19-year-old, was like, dude, you're too distracting in meetings. Like, I know you want to be funny, but you're too distracting in meetings. And I'll never forget that. It stuck with me, and it was a growing process for me. It was calling out something specific that I needed to work on. And so as we call them to do better, you still want to, for this next month, especially to kind of continue this process as your groups are growing, is you want to assert control. Not in a crazy, like, domineering way, like, I am in control, this is my group, like, not in a powerful, like a power-hungry way, but more just letting students know, like, hey, we're respectful of one another, and we listen to one another. And here's really why, is because I was talking with one of the other leaders last night, and I was saying that my goal is that every student would walk in here and feel heard and known. And now that's a big task to accomplish because we have 120 students who are showing up every week. And so for each one of them to walk in and feel heard, we need enough people to be able to make them feel heard. And some of you are like, I have a group of 20 people, and so that's not going to feel super possible every week, and I get that. But I'm trying to even make sure we have enough leaders in each group and that the groups are respectful enough that each student at least has an opportunity to know that they're heard or understood. And so you can even tell that to your group and say, hey, this is why we're hard on interrupting. This is why we will ask you guys to be respectful of one another, because we want to make sure, you can tell your group this, we want to make sure every person in here has the opportunity to feel heard and understood. Because when someone walks in for the first time and they get a chance to speak, and sometimes they might be shy and not want to, but they get a chance to feel known in front of a group of people, that's just, it really does numbers to their confidence and who they are and whatever stage they're going through. Is like, man, I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to feel understood. And that matters a lot to them. And another thing I want to touch on with that, of feeling understood, is something I really want to focus on in this next season is making sure that we as leaders are doing a good job in the beforehand about connecting with our students. And I know it's a lot of time to hang up, and there's other leaders that you're friends with that you get to see, but even bringing some of those leaders with you maybe, but just making sure you always have a student or two with you that you're talking to. And even during the small groups, during the message, you guys have been much better with this about sitting amongst your group, but that can be an opportunity to help corral groups that are distracted. It also just helps a student, even if a student's paying attention and you're sitting next to them, it just feels like they're like, my leader cares about me. They chose to sit next to me. And so part of helping students feel understood by us as leaders is not just by this mindset that I just show up during group time to lead your group, but it's actually being with them. And it sends this subliminal message to them that it's like, I want to spend time with you. And so I know it's hard because sometimes, you're just getting off work. Maybe you didn't even get to eat dinner, or you just got dinner and you rushed out the door to make it to group. And so I know it's tough. And so you just want a second to decompress. But I'd encourage you as much as possible, just find a student right when you get there and just make it 2 different students every week, and just make it a point to be like, I'm going to connect with them. I'm going to find out how their week was outside of group. I'm going to find a common interest we have and share and talk about that. Or I'm going to ask about their interest. And even if it's about finding some quest in a video game that you could care less about, just listening as if it's the most exciting thing you've ever heard goes a long way to help a student know that the adults here care about me. And that's going to help us, because there's so many students. I don't want someone to just get lost in the crowd. And so making groups respectful, but then also us doing our part of even leading by example for the other people in our group and saying we want to make people feel known, is going to go a long way for those 120 kids who show up each week to go, yeah, I want to belong here. And it's going to allow them to start, once you listen to them, they're actually going to start listening to you better. And they're going to go, this guy cares about me and listens to what I want to say, so I want to listen to him. It's that old adage, maybe you've heard it, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when students know how much you care, they're going to start listening to things you have to say, and they're going to start growing. And it's just this cool process that happens. So I really want to focus on, again, continuing what you're doing to make sure we're staying in control of our groups and helping people stay focused and listen to one another and feel loved. But that's even why we did some of those connection questions, and I encourage continue doing those connection questions. But why we're here each week is to help every student who comes in say, I feel known and loved when I show up to this place every Wednesday night. So that's really our goal while we're here, and I can't do it. I can't do it alone. There's 120 students, and I can at most listen to 5 to 10 students every week. And so the other 110 that I'm not talking to, that's you guys. You're doing that and you're making that happen. So thanks so much. And yeah, let me know if what you guys want trainings on.